Good morning and welcome to my very first ever at-home live video stream. I mentioned last night in a post that I wrote that I was going to be doing a video project, and that sounds a lot fancier than it is because it's not fancy. I have zero videography skills and I don't know how to edit, which is one reason I'm just going to go live, because I wouldn't have done anything special to a video even if I had posted it. So this is a spiritual accountability project that I'm working on. So just to remind everyone, yesterday I challenged everyone to participate in a joy program. This is day 2 of that program. What you need to do is get yourself a piece of paper. This is almost even too big. It needs to be like quarter size. Take a small piece of paper, something that can fit into the palm of your hand. Write 10 more things that you are thankful for. Yesterday you should have written your first 10, and you might have had to grasp at straws. You might have been thankful for your bed or your toothpaste or something. And sometimes when you start being thankful, you have to grasp at straws. But hopefully by the end of this 10 days, you will be able to really be thanking God for the big things in your life, because there are a million of them, and we're only doing 100. So today's day 2. Make sure you keep going with that challenge. Write down 10 more things, and then carry both of those pieces of papers around with you all day, and be thanking God for 20 things that He's blessed you with. And they might be your kids and your spouse and your siblings and your parents and those kinds of things. But they might be the really tiny things like your kitchen table or the can of beans you ate for dinner last night or whatever it is. Find whatever those things are and make sure that you're actively thanking God for them. So that was just one small reminder. The video accountability project I'm working on is for spiritual accountability. And I'm on here so that you guys can hold me accountable. I've been feeling God's call in my life to do ministry for a long time. And I've been doing little things. I've been writing for a long time, and I share everything that I learn. And I have the Undusted Bible, which is my Facebook ministry. I have a women's ministry that I'm trying to do. I do other little things. My family opened a whole building here in Ironton. We have the mission, and it's an outreach center and a thrift store, and those are all great things, but it's not enough. I just know that it's not enough. And the thing is that I don't know what ministry looks like in my life. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. But that's why I'm starting here. So, one of the things I told God and my family a while back was that when January came, I was going to work less and I was going to spend more time with God. Unfortunately, my schedule did not reflect that. I didn't take on less hours, and I had no plan when January actually hit where I was going to all of a sudden be more ministry and less everything else. And so in God's amazing way, not that He likes for us to be down and out, but He does like to teach lessons. And January 2nd, I was sick. And last week, I was sicker than I have ever been in my entire life. I spent 6 days being able to do absolutely nothing. 4 of them in bed, like straight in bed, not doing anything else. And I have never been that sick. I have always been able to power through. I've always gotten up and done it anyway. There wasn't any doing that. And I would love to say I used all that time wisely. I didn't. I tried sleeping the whole time. I didn't like delve into Bible study or anything while I was sick. But what I learned was that God's calling didn't change just because my schedule wasn't going to reflect that. And so although I have entered a new week of January and I'm still not reflecting in my schedule that I'm all of a sudden building in ministry time, what I have learned is that I have a lot of moments I'm wasting, and I don't want to waste them anymore. I live in a one-income household, and I'm still raising children, and so to quit working altogether doesn't seem like it makes sense. Although I can trust God. You've got to understand the way God works. It's miracle after miracle after miracle. Months and months and months ago, something happened in my life, and the financial payout from that came last week. And we're talking like over $1,000. So when I missed out on all that work, He already had a way prepared because He is just that good. And I never ever doubt that. Sometimes you get self-sufficient, and I own my own business, and I really wish that God had come into my life with this calling when I wasn't so secure all on my own. I mean, isn't that how it works? Here we finally are making our own money, and we're finally a little bit more secure, and boy, God, why do you want to come and undo all that? Well, He doesn't want to undo all that. He is the one who created that in my life in the first place. But I don't want it to replace Him. I don't want my self-sufficiency to replace what He can do in my life. And if I have to let go of all of that, which I don't think He's asking me to do, but if I have to let go of all of it to come back into the understanding that He is the reason I have anything at all, then I'm willing to do that. And we need to do that over and over and over again. Whatever it takes to rely completely on Him. But so what I was saying was that here I am, I'm still working, and I'm not yet taking less clients. But what I am going to do is I'm going to use my time off wisely. I'm going to use my time in between wisely. I'm going to use my time in the car wisely. I'm going to wake up earlier and spend time with God. I'm going to build time into my evening schedule to spend time with God, because I haven't been doing that. And it's sort of like going on a diet program and forgetting to eat. You can't. He is the bread of life. He is the fountain of ever-flowing water, and I need that in order to survive. And I've only been subsisting. And if you're anything like I am, you've gone through the same thing. It doesn't matter how much I was in Bible study 2 years ago. That doesn't sustain me now. I have to be still doing it now. And so although I don't know what He wants me to do as far as ministry goes, I don't know what someone else needs from me. I don't know what lessons He has left to teach me. But I know it's something. And I need to be doing whatever that is. And so that is my accountability. I'm going to come on here every day. And I'm going to share what He's teaching me. And I'm going to give different parts of my testimony, because I know for a fact that there's someone out there going through something that I've gone through. I know that everyone needs a platform and a space to share what they're going through, and we can work on it together. We can talk about what prayer requests we need to be bringing before God. But the one thing I wanted to share this morning, aside from the fact that I want accountability, and I do, I want you to hold me accountable. I want the people that I know to not let me squander what God has given me. And He's given you something too. And it's going to be something different than what He's given me. I like to write, and I don't mind speaking in public, and there are a million things that I can do, but they're not the same things you can do. I can't build a house, and I can't teach algebra, and there are a million things I cannot do, and He's calling you to do some of the things that I can't do, so that when we work together and we become the body of Christ, we can go out there and fulfill His commission of telling the world that He's coming soon, and He is coming soon. And the way you can tell the world is different than the way that I can tell the world. But we both be telling them, and that's the point. But the lesson I want to give today is this. Here we are in a new year. And everyone wants to make resolutions, and they want this year to be better than last year, and especially with all this political stuff and COVID stuff, and we're just sick and tired of the last 2 years. But the reality is, this year is going to be as good as you make it. And it doesn't matter what is going to happen in this year. Your attitude and focus is going to be what makes it successful or not. Because I can tell you this, God's track record for getting you through your hard stuff is 100%. You're still here. And you have suffered through worse than you're suffering right now. Most of you. I know some people who are going through some really hard stuff right now. People who have lost loved ones to COVID-related things, or cancer, or they're going through divorce, or whatever it is. And those are hard, hard things. But most of us have survived worse than what we're dealing with right now. It's just easy to give in to the depression and to the bleakness of life and to lose hope. Don't. God isn't telling you to retire. There's no retirement plan in the gospel. He isn't telling you that it's going to all of a sudden get easier. In fact, the Bible tells us it's going to get harder. But he tells us that he's going to be with us no matter what. That he provides the strength, the refuge, the joy, the love, the hope, the salvation, the mercy, the grace. He provides all of that free. We can take it. No matter what we're going through, he's providing those things. And we don't have to scrounge them up on our own. We're not alone. And he'll send people into our life to remind us of that. I hope we don't silence them. I know that sometimes I want to throw a pity party. And I appreciate the people who come in and say, that's enough. You know, you can have 5 minutes of your pity party, but don't stay there. Because that takes us into an area where we forget all that God is doing for us. And it's an amazing amount. And if we focused on that, then our focus would be in the right spot. I don't want to downplay what you're going through in your life that's hard, because it is hard, and we can talk about that. But God always has something better. And if I hadn't gone through all the hard days I went through, I wouldn't be here now. And I have grown as a person, and I have grown as a child of God, and I have been able to empathize and connect with other people in a way I could never have done if I hadn't gone through all that. And I am thankful. I would go through it 1,000,000 times again in order to grow and become a better version of who I am, because I was not a good person, and I'm still struggling sometimes, but he makes all things new, and he's asking us to become new creatures in him. And so I'm just reminding you that although it's January and we have lofty goals for how great this year is going to be, your circumstances will not define how good 2022 is. You will decide that. Your attitude will decide that. Your focus will decide that. If you happen to have made a pact with God to spend more time with him this year, let that be the one thing you don't ever break. You can never, ever spend too much time with God. Never. And the more time you spend with him, the more everything else in your life falls into place. And even when, like I posted last night, even when the ground shakes and the mountains are moving and the waters are roaring around you, none of that impacts you the same when it's God holding your hand. God is the reason that we survive and thrive. He's the reason we have joy and blessings. He is the reason we have every good thing. And he lets us suffer through some of the hard stuff because they're growing and refining experiences. And we have to have those in order to become better versions of who he created us to be. He created us in his image, and that is beautiful. And we need to start seeing ourselves the way he sees us. So just remember, in all of your moments, you can waste them or you can spend them with him. And that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to spend more of my free time, more of my mind time, which I have all the time. I'm going to spend more of that with him. Secondly, this year is going to be as good as you make it. Don't look forward and think It's not going to be what I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to be able to do all those things I wish I could have done. None of my plans are going to come true. Well, I hope you don't have any plans other than to follow what God has for you. And that could be different every single day. And as long as we're following God, we're never going to fail. And He will never, ever fail us. God is 100% faithful. And even when we disappoint ourselves, and even when we can only see despair, that's not God. God only sees hope. And He's going to take us through every hard day the same way He's taken us through every hard day we've come through so far. And He's never going to leave us or forsake us. And He's always going to hold our hand. We have the choice to let go, but I really pray that we don't. Let's hold each other accountable. Participate in the Joy program. This is day 2. You should be thanking God for 20 things that He's given you in your life. And never forget that He has a plan for you. It involves telling someone else about Him. It involves spending time with Him. And it is always for your good. And I hope you have a very blessed day.